Hello, greetings and salutations. Welcome aboard my podcast. I am Jason with Jay's Paradise Travels. Glad that you can make it this week. Today, I'm going to be talking about my experience at the Kennedy Space Center. And I'm not going to lie to you, I'm a little all over the place with this, a little bit, and I'll explain why here in just a second. But I did want to share this with you. This is kind of a continuation, in a way, of the previous podcast where I've talked about my experience with MSC, the different stops that I went on with MSC, and the Bahamas and Mexico. In addition to that cruise, as part of that trip that we took, the very next day we went to the Kennedy Space Center. And it is a destination, I guess you could say. It is something that you could go see. So I do want to talk about it. The Kennedy Space Center was a very cool thing to go visit. I have to admit, I did enjoy it there. And it was something that I wasn't quite sure if I would. And I say that because those aren't always my type of things. I didn't really know what to expect of it. My wife, she loves like culture and museums, and I'm more of like a sports guy. And I remember when I interviewed with Carnival, when I used to work directly for them, when I interviewed with them, they had asked me to describe what my perfect vacation would be. And I was honest, that was easy for me. It would include going on a cruise and would also include going to see games. They're both my hobbies, they're both my passion. And if I can combine them into one vacation, I'm definitely going to do that. And I have done that multiple times. In fact, back in December of 2023, I was able to do it. Back in October of 2022, both of those cruises I was on Carnival, I got to go see games in addition to seeing, going on a cruise. So in this vacation, I didn't get to see any games, and that's all right. I didn't get to see any games. My wife and my dad had never been to the Kennedy Space Center. Neither had I, actually, and that was something that they wanted to do, and they've gone with me to plenty of games, so I was willing to go as well. And I'm glad I did. I'm really glad I did. It was a nice experience. I took a lot of pictures, a lot of pictures, and I did post some on my Instagram and Facebook. It's Jay's Paradise Travels. If you're not following, please look it up and follow. And if it's something you want to go visit, let me know. j.paradise.travels@gmail.com is my email. You can reach out to me, any one of those three things. So I did post it, but at that time I had posted so much of the cruise, the MSC cruise, and it takes a lot for me to post, get them in order, try to organize them, tell a little bit of a story with it on both platforms, Instagram and Facebook. That by the time that I finally got to Kennedy Space Center, I was so tired of trying to post and post. And again, I've mentioned this before. I am not a humongous picture taker. I do it, be able to share it with others, but I'd rather just live in the moment and enjoy it. But I do it because I want to be able to share it with others. So I was posting and taking so many pictures. By the time I got to Kennedy Space Center, I was like, I don't feel like posting all of these pictures. So I just ended up doing like my top 10 pictures. Here you go. Enjoy, everyone. Hope you like them. Now that I'm doing this podcast and I know how to share pictures with it, it's like, man, I should have really just posted all those pictures. So I don't just come on here and wing it. I do try to take some notes. Maybe if you're watching the video, you might see me look down a little bit. I'm actually glancing at my notes. My memory can be kind of fuzzy. I remember things. I definitely remember things. But then when I'm trying to talk and speak and relate the experience and everything, the memory could just go right out the window. I don't want that to happen. So I do jot down some notes. If you ever see me kind of looking down here, I'm just kind of seeing, make sure I got everything I want to remember. It's easier to write that down. But then I also try to pull up the pictures that I've taken too, so I can be able to share them with you guys. So I thought about it and I was like, all right, I only got 10 pictures. I tried syncing my phone because I still have the pictures on my phone. Tried syncing them with my computer, see if I can pull it out that way. It didn't really happen. I ended up just redoing a whole nother post and just put them all on there. But of course, it couldn't be that easy. Instagram only allows you 10. And and Facebook wouldn't allow you to do pictures and videos at the same time. And I had more than that, both videos and pictures. I ended up putting all the pictures on Facebook and then all the videos on Instagram. You'll see me kind of toggle back and forth with it a little bit. And I'll do my best to get through this. Hope you guys will enjoy this podcast. Hope you can stick with it through it. I'm going to be showing a lot. It'll be a little bit more unique in that regards, I think. I don't know. We'll just see how this goes. In a way, I'm going to wing it in that way. I do have my notes. I have my notes to try to remember what happened during the time and everything. We'll just see how this goes. Anyways, let's get started. I'll start with pictures. As I mentioned, this was something that my wife and dad had an interest in doing. And I'm not humongous. I didn't know what to expect. Now here in Detroit, we have a museum here that we're kind of known for a little bit. I don't know if we're known for it, but it's around. It's called the Henry Ford Museum, and attached to it is also another place called Greenfield Village. I might even do a podcast one day on my experience with that, because the past year we had a membership there and we went a few times. And it's actually a really nice place. I've grown up going there. Our podcast today isn't about that, but we had that. And I didn't know if maybe that's kind of what it was like, if it was a museum type of thing. I didn't know if it was an amusement park. I didn't know what to expect of it. I kind of actually anticipated just a small little area, but I didn't really have that much expectations. Again, I thought it was more their thing than me, but I was going to do it to support them. Got there, come to find out, it's kind of a combination. Outdoor and indoor. Outdoor, you walk around, you see different things, and then they have different exhibits that you go inside and see different things. And it kind of reminded me of both an amusement park and a museum combined. And it was again, it was a nice experience. At the end of it, as I look back on it, I really did enjoy it. I took some pictures going into it. Hopefully these pictures are coming through. All these construction cones here makes me think of Michigan, to be honest with you. But that was the first one. And as we were pulling in, I saw this picture. I was like, oh, okay, we're getting there. And then you get closer, and there's the parking there's the line to get into the parking. On the very left, we ended up going on the very left lane, and it was kind of going, and then out of nowhere, it just dead stop. And people were constantly going to the right of us. We sat there 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, however long it was. And I couldn't believe how slow it wasn't going anywhere. So we ended up having to get into the other line. So I don't know what happened with that exactly. If you do go, maybe go in the middle lane instead. I'm sure whatever it is, they've probably fixed it. I don't know if it was just someone that in front of us that didn't know what to do, or the machine was down. I don't know. But whatever it was, I don't know. We had to switch lanes. We switched lanes. Anyways, you're going in, and this is kind of the stuff you see, right? You see like a rocket like that. It's kind of cool to see. There's another bunch of them, which you get into closer. But this is just kind of from afar. Kind of reminds me when I go into Cedar Point. I don't know if you've ever been to Cedar Point, or any amusement park really, but you see all the rides from a distance. I know when I go to Cedar Point, that's what I do as we get into that causeway. Kind of reminded me of that, seeing it from a distance, which is kind of cool. This clock down, this countdown clock. Not sure if that was for the next launch. There was a launch the night before, I believe. I missed it. I took a picture. We heard it. I took a picture, but it was just all you saw was like a squiggly line in the sky. I still do launches, though. And then you got a photo opportunity there. That's not my family. That's somebody else. I was just taking a picture of the globe itself, the NASA globe. That was nice. Nice photo opportunity with that. They had a wide variety of different things to go and see. And you may still be able to see me along with the picture as I'm recording this. I am going to refer back to my phone here because I took a picture of within. I'm not sharing it with you. I'm just looking at it for my own reference. The different attractions that they had within. This one was the first one that we did. This was the Heroes and Legends U.S. Astronaut Hall of Fame. As you can see, I mean, it says there on it. But when you go in, you end up going in, and you walk. Well, here's kind of like the the shipping yard or I don't even know what you want to call it. It's like their own little rocket garden. Oh, you could actually get into a capsule. There's me getting into the capsule. I think we did all this before we got into there. So you can see that rocket as well, a bunch of different rockets. But you get in, and I tell you what, I'm going to stop sharing real quick, because when you get in there, you actually see, I guess you could say, a little video that I'm going to share here. But the video, well, it's not a video, it's a presentation that they have. I took a little video of it. That's what I want to try to share with you. And hopefully the sound. Located at the rear of the theater. Okay, so hopefully the sound came through with that, but it I could actually mute it, I think, and be able to talk with it. You get into this room, it's a circular room. They have a little presentation. You see all the stuff on the wall. They eventually darken the lights, and have a show going on. A show, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. They talk to you, and the wall. There's stuff behind the wall too that eventually they'll fade out whatever is up front, and you can see the stuff that's behind it. And then in the middle, you got the different rockets too. So you go see that before you actually go in to the other thing, where there is actually another movie, I guess you could say. You stand and watch it, and you kind of, I don't remember, you're there for 5-10 minutes, however long it is. But that's part of it. And then another video that I want to share with you. And I'm kind of going back and forth to different videos. I want to be able to do it in a way that it's not just popping up here and interrupting me, or I'm interrupting it. The next one, though, this is some different things that you see within that Hall of Fame. And it starts out with saying hero is, and then it has all these different attributes. And within those different attributes, a little area that you go in and see different displays. You'll see it here in just a second. Let me put down the video. Actually, I'll keep it muted. I don't think there's anything talking. But this one, it said hero is inspired. And you go in here and you see different things. Inspired. This one here, passionate. Again, kind of its own little museum. Hero's curious. And it goes on and on. There's quite a lot of different things. They're tenacious. I couldn't spend too much time. And there was more. I don't even think I got them all in the video. But you'll see they're disciplined. You'll see a lot of different attributes, a lot of different qualities that they need. And sure enough, I mean, if you're going to go into space, you're going to need these things. There was a little mission control room type of setup. You saw that. Actually, there's different ones that you would see from there. One was even a show later on. I think I got a little video of that. Yeah, so there was that. That was nice to see. Within that area, I don't think I had the video of the actual movie that you kind of are standing and watching a little bit. It was interesting though that it was kind of it had effects though. So as you're watching the movie and you're going through space, whatever, you're feeling like they're blowing wind at you, things like that, to make it more lively, make you feel like you're a part of it, make you feel like you're in it, which was really neat. And then there was the Hall of Fame, because this is that was part of it too. There was the Hall of Fame. Let me go ahead and share my screen once again. If for those that are just listening, I apologize. Mainly in this one, you'll probably there's a lot of pictures you're missing. Hopefully, you get a chance to see it at one point. All right, so this here, it might be a little difficult with the lighting and everything, but each one of those is like a head, a human, an astronaut. You would see their names, their missions, years. There's a statue of an astronaut, all kinds of different ones. And some of them I knew, obviously, there's Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, those ones that are common. Most people know them. And I want to say I have even some photos of it, some still photos. So you can see that in that video, there was quite a lot. Definitely a hall of fame. Um, and then I took pictures of it too. See, there's that statue that I kind of went by real quick. Um, there's the statue just on its own. I don't know if it's anyone in particular. Maybe it is. There was that, and then that's going into it. Or that's from the outside as walk in. There's Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong, Jim Lovell, which I knew from Apollo 13, that movie, which I love that movie. Great movie. And that's in more of a sports guy. I wasn't a humongous space guy, astronaut guy, anything like that. I did enjoy that movie. Didn't aside from that movie, I didn't know a ton about the space program or just astronaut space in general. But I do remember loving that movie, Apollo 13, not Apollo, what was it, 18 or 19? There was another movie that came out. Oh, that was so awful. Like a couple movies that I look back on, I think, wow, what a waste of my time. What a waste of, I could have done so many better things in my life than watching that movie. Apollo 18 or 19, whatever it was. Just god awful, just a horrible movie. So stupid. I can't believe I wasted my time watching that movie. And they were, it was something about moon rock spiders, and I don't know, it's just ridiculous. Anyways, that not that movie. Apollo 13 with Tom Hanks and Gary Sinise, and is it Gary Sinise or Greg Sinise, whatever his name is, and Kevin Bacon was in it. Bill Paxton. Good cast, great movie. Anyways, that's what. Anyways, the astronaut on that one, Jim Lovell. That's, I believe, him. And then we're back outside. So, and then before that, just some other pictures throughout the little area. There's Gemini 9A. You can see those different qualities down there, what they had on top of it. Now back outside again. And then when you get back outside, you're back in that yard. So again, the first thing that we saw was that Heroes, what's it called again? The Heroes and Legends Hall of Fame. And nice little tip of the hat to all those astronauts and what they do. I mean, to be an astronaut, that's, it's not like getting your driver's license. Anyone can do it. Right? You need to be a pilot. You need to have endurance. You need to be well fit. There's a lot goes into that. It's not for the weak-hearted to be able to learn all that stuff. It's quite a lot of science into it. Not to mention all the people that work so hard behind the scenes to make it possible to get something up in space. And I know it's come a long way since back then in the 70s and up to now, but still, a lot of respect for them, for those that are all part of those programs and that make it possible. So yeah, nice little tip of the hat to those ones that have are legendary in that field. Moving forward, let's see here. Back to the pictures. Yeah, so you go back outside, and I don't know. I forgot. I don't even know. Did it have a name? Was it? Because to me, it just reminds me of like a big garden, a garden of rockets. Oh yeah, it was called Rocket Garden. I'm looking at the map now. Rocket Garden. That was what it was called. Nice. All right, I got that accurate. So as you can see, a lot of different rockets, and that was again, I didn't know a ton. When I look at it, I think a rocket. It wasn't until later when we saw another thing, which you'll get into in a second, called Atlantis, when they developed the space shuttles. Never really realized there's a difference of it, but there is. A rocket, is just that big long thing that had the two boosters that shot it up. And that was it. Space shuttles look more like an airplane. Again, I didn't even think that there was a difference, but there is. Now I know. Anyways, okay, so here's NASA's Orion spacecraft, a full-scale model of that. I think that's one of the satellites. And they had a guy out there, not necessarily a tour guide, maybe, but he was out there explaining some things. I don't think I got a video of him, talking, but he knew a lot of stuff, a lot of facts. There's the Mars rover, which I thought was pretty neat that he had that, or not he had that, he was there to be able to help with it, because I only know so much. Another video I have here. Oh, I'm still sharing. I'm going through all this stuff. I'm still sharing. There's a bus tour there. Let me stop sharing real quick so I can flip it over to the video, which is on Instagram. All right, so here, this is part of that yard. I got it on mute so I can talk over it. Again, I don't think the guy's talking, but you can kind of see, I try to show all the way around. A lot of different rockets, different, I'll say models, but different, not a model rocket, but different ones that they've used over the years. Pretty cool to go see. Pretty cool to see them up close in person, It's not like you can just walk up to a rocket in real life, aside from being in here. Definitely neat experience being able to see them up close and personal like that. And the I don't know if you saw the picture. There is a bus tour. I think that was the next thing that we did was the bus tour. The bus tour was pretty cool. They take you from the Kennedy Space Center over to another facility that has a lot of different things to see too. And you actually we spent quite a bit of time there. So we got on this bus. There wasn't a ton of people there. As we're driving there, here is another facility. I forget what this one is called, but this thing is actually like super huge. May just look like a regular building in this picture, but this is kind of like where they store the rockets, work on the rockets. So that thing is super tall. I want to say that flag that you see there is like the size of a football field, to kind of give you an idea of how big it is. I can't remember the exact measurements of it, but if you're out there and you love space and you're into this stuff, you probably know about this building. And I do remember seeing it in Apollo 13, the movie. I didn't know what it was, but I remember seeing it. Now I know what it is. And I really wish we would have saw that as they were describing it. Okay, so you have this bus ride over there. I think I want to say 10, 15 minutes, however long it is. And they play a video. And as you're listening to the video, it's describing things that you are coming across, or about to come across, this building being one of them. And the way that they described it, I thought was really cool. I was thinking, okay, maybe this is part of like the tour. This is part of the bus tour. We'll get to stop there. No, we didn't. We just got to pass by it. We got to take pictures of it, which is, nice, but we didn't get to actually stop and go there. I was a little bummed about that. I thought it would have been pretty cool to see that, to actually go into it, walk through those open doors, which humongous, 100 feet tall or whatever it is, however big this building is. 100 might even be more than that. Anyways, pretty cool to see nonetheless. Just wish that part of the tour was we could actually stop there. That would have been really cool to be able to do. All right, let me see. So continuing on, one of the things, as I mentioned, we got to see is like one of the mission control rooms. This was like a part of a little bit of a show, I guess you could say. And I think this is one of the ones that, like, right when we got there too, this was kind of part of it that you could do. You sit down and they kind of go through like a countdown of what it would be like, for blast off. And I may have a video of that. Let me see here. So I'm going to stop sharing this one and start sharing the video that I have here. I believe, here we go. I'll unmute this one and I won't talk. Hopefully the audio comes through. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, radiation sequence stop. The engines are on. 4, 3, All right. Hopefully that audio came through because I was silent throughout the. I didn't want to interrupt if it was. But you're in that mission control room, and if I remember correctly, they had effects kind of in there too. I think where you felt like rumble and maybe even the because I think they're just kind of again trying to get you what it would be like to be a part of it. I thought that was pretty neat. Um, and then from there, so that was kind of at the beginning. From there, you continue on. Let's go back to the pictures, and you get into this humongous room that has a lot of different things displayed, including the rocket itself. There's the back of it, and try to take multiple pictures to kind of show it to you. I think I do even have a video of that as well, of being able to see it, the whole thing. That was my next video, or at least the room area. But I'll mute it because I don't think anything's talking there you need to hear. But yeah, you can see how big this place is too. How big that rocket is, all the way down there. You're getting the full scale of it, which is pretty neat. Here's another video of it from another angle. So I was in the back. Now I'm on the side of it, and it's different pieces. It's throughout my understanding here, and you get the different Apollo signs. Each Apollo mission had different logos, pictures. But yeah, I was on the back for that first video and pictures. Now it's on the side. And from my understanding of it, if I remember correctly, throughout the process of takeoff and whatever they do on their mission, there's different sections of the rocket that break apart for different portions of it. That's why it was kind of in sections there. Again, I'm no space guy. I think that's what it is, if I remember correctly. Let's go back to pictures. So from there, yeah, you got the back. Now on the side there, another that's not a vehicle, modules maybe. You can see down the path again. I know I showed in the video a little bit, but now here's all the different Apollo signs, or quite a few of them. I don't know if this starts at, I don't know, it's Apollo 9. You can see inside of it, which is kind of cool. You walk up a stairway to do that and go in there. They're so big, but then a lot of times when I looked inside a lot of these things, man, they were so cramped. Like they're really, probably elbowing each other in the eye and stuff. They're so cramped in these things, even though they look so big on the outside. And another picture of that. This was pretty interesting here. Jim Lovell, again, he was from Apollo 13. Had kind of like an interactive display. There was these different questions down here. If you pushed them, it would ask them, and he would answer them in this hologram type of thing. That was really cool. I wanted to listen to all of them. I can't remember if I did listen to all of them, but there was other people that would come. I didn't want to hog the thing. I didn't want to be selfish. So then I would step aside, maybe let someone else do it. You could see him. And then Tom Hanks played him in Apollo 13. Talked about that as well. So that was pretty cool. More parts, more rockets, more things. Can't remember exactly what that is. Now here's outside. That's where they launch it. There were some numbers there too, but usually when you watch a launching, this is where you're at. You're far away across the water, and safe distance from all that fumes and fire and explosions that going off to make it happen. So you're way over here. Let me see if did I miss any. I'm gonna stop sharing now just so I can see did I miss any other videos here. Working my way towards it. Okay, nice. All right, back to sharing. There's a lot of things to share. I took a lot of pictures, and again, I was so tired of posting things. I only posted 10, but now that I want to talk about it and share it with you guys, now I'm going to go more in depth and share them all. All right, so that was outside, and just another view from it. in between. There's if I remember correctly, there's not just one. There's a couple of them, I think. Now that I believe was that what brought them home on Apollo 13. Maybe not. But that's one of their. It could have been. It looks familiar. If you're familiar with the story, and I'm only familiar because I love the movie, even though I don't watch it all the time, but I did watch it shortly after we got back. Whatever crippled their rocket couldn't make it all the way home, so they had to get into their lunar, whatever they were going to take down to the moon. They had to use that as like a lifeboat to get back home. I can't remember if this was it or not, but that's something similar. If not, you can see. Just look how little it is. There you go, squeeze 2-3 people in there. Still cool to see whether or not that was the actual one or not. I can't remember. There's one of their spacesuits. I don't know if I took a picture of it, but they do in one of their displays. Not only do they show the spacesuit, they show what it's made of. Just so much different material to make it, functionable, to make it where you can be outside, however cold it is up in space, and still be able to live. Here's a lunar sample. That was interesting. Somewhere, I don't know if I have a picture of it, but I'm actually, they let you feel it too, one of them. And unlike that stupid movie that I absolutely hate, this is not a Spider Rock. Oh God, I hated that movie. I can't tell you enough how disappointed I am in myself for sitting down and wasting 2 hours of my life watching that movie. All right. So this here was a show. I did have some videos of it, but it's kind of dark, and I don't know if you get the full effect of it. But it starts off really dark, and it's basically like your vantage point. You're sitting on the moon, and you can see the Earth in the distance. This is, I think, a little bit more towards the end, but you get the lunar rover that comes down, or the modular. The rover is the vehicle, right? Yeah, I think so. And they all progressively do it. And you hear people talking too. It's a little bit maybe more clear view of it. There's another one of the suits. That's for Apollo 17. That go back to this. So that was a nice show. That was enjoyable. As I said, I did take a couple videos, but it's kind of dark. And if I showed it, I don't know if you get the full effect of it. So maybe just something whet your appetite. It'd definitely be worthwhile to go see. Yeah, look at imagine walking around on that thing. Although up in space, I'm sure it's a little easier to do. No gravity. There's, I think there's the rover. Yeah. And another one. Here you can go and look inside there. Don't remember if you could actually go in that one. Some of the things you could actually kind of go in, crawl in. There's a little display that they had there. It almost looks like, it kind of shows what those astronauts are doing on the moon itself. Kind of looks like they're playing putt-putt golf or something. I don't think that's what they were doing. But it kind of looked like that, as they were probably, collecting samples or planting their flag, whatever they're doing. A little display of that. Oh, here's the lunar sample. Yeah, being able to feel a moon rock. Kind of cool. Yeah, and she got to touch it too. It was very smooth. Kind of cool. Now, here's a little window. You look inside. This is what I'm talking about there. It's not huge. They are just squeezed together. The thing looks really big on the outside, but then you go in there and it's like, oh, wow, they're really cramped in there. Those aren't real people. Those are obviously mannequins, just dummies, but give you an idea of what it looks like in there. Can imagine how easy to go around. All right, so before I get into Atlantis, let me stop sharing and share another video. The video I'm going to show here, it has it almost kind of like you're walking. It's almost like you're walking to get onto a spaceship, like that bridge. I think that's kind of what the setup was a little bit. What it would be like to actually walk across that bridge going into the spaceship. And then when you get on the other side, you can see. So on the outside, you saw those three. I showed you a picture of them. Here's this vantage point of it. So now you're behind them instead of to your side. Again, just really really cramped in there. Can't imagine it was easy to move around, or hope you're not claustrophobic if you're an astronaut, right? That was getting into it. That was the start of the video. The next video shows just around the area again. There's that rocket. Now from the front of it, you've seen the back, the side. Down there is that display where they look like they're playing golf. There's a little bus they use to transport. Here's this where you saw the three in there. Again, they're kind of bigger. Lunar Theater, you go in there, watch a little movie before you get into the Apollo 13 area. We kind of did the opposite, though. We were in the Apollo 13 area first, and then we went and saw that video. All right, so let's get into Atlantis. I won't show that video quite yet. So when we got back, so we were there in that area for quite a bit of time. And I want to say that we were probably there a good portion of the day. You could be there quite a while. In fact, I'll be honest, we didn't even see this entire thing. That was probably one of the biggest things. That one, I think, is the Kennedy Space Center bus tour, including Apollo, Saturn V Center. That's what we were in there. So yeah, it says the duration could be a couple hours. Definitely can be there, and depending on how, if you're someone who if you're at a museum or anything like this, where you just go around, look, yeah, you can go. But if you actually stop, read things, you can be there. I will read, but I can't read everything. It's just too much, So I'll read a decent amount of stuff, but not everything. But I'm not one that just look, and I'm done, and I'm over in 10, 15 minutes. I'm not like that either. We did all that. You come back. Another thing that you see on the bus, I don't believe I had a picture of it, is there's this thing called a crawler, and they do explain that in that video that as you hear on the bus. And the crawler is what actually takes the spaceship from, either that big building over to the launching pad or wherever it needs to go. Big, humongous piece of machinery. You set a rocket on it, thing weighs a ton, and it transports it, and it does it very slowly. It's got wheels like a tank, or I don't even know if you call it a wheel, and it just goes very slowly. Just we saw it. We saw it from a distance. Took a picture. Or at least I think my wife got a picture of it. I don't have it. And she may have sent it to me. I don't remember, but it's kind of from a distance, and it's a little hard to see. It's not like this humongous building or anything. It's from a distance, kind of smaller to see. So it's there in the picture somewhere. That was cool to be able to see it. It would have been cool to actually see it moving, even if it was slow. But we were on the bus is on the path that it takes to get from one place to another. We did all that. We did that what's it called? The bus tour, the Kennedy Space Center bus tour. We're out there at that center. Came back, and when we got back, we were right next to Atlantis. Atlantis, I don't know if you saw in that bus tour picture earlier, in the distance, there was what looked like a humongous rocket. That's where I'm going to show the picture. This is of it up front before you get into it. Here it is. Look at that behemoth. Really life size. The Space Shuttle Atlantis. Now here's where as I mentioned, I learned the difference between a space shuttle and a rocket. You may hear that and think, boy, Jason's really dumb. I wasn't into it that much to realize it. But yeah, they're two separate things. So you go in here and you go up all the way up top, pretty much, I guess you could say, and it's kind of like ramps. It's not necessarily stairs. It's a bunch of ramps to get up there. And you're going. Have you ever been to a sports stadium, and to get from like the main floor all the way up to the third deck, you take ramps that just go back and forth, up and down? That sort of like that, not exact, but just to kind of give you an idea. Those are all ramps to get up there. You get up there, you see a picture there. A guy stops you. You go in to watch a show. We were stopped here by a guy. He was nice. He kind of talked a little bit, and you're waiting to go in to see like a show that maybe is around 7 or 8 minutes, and the show is really cool. It kind of explains how they transitioned from doing rockets to a space shuttle, and all the hard work that went into it, the designs, and just why they wanted to change from one to the other. And it seemed like they really wanted to be able to reuse it instead of the rockets, where it's like kind of just one and done. It's falling. They're breaking it into pieces, and they just really can't use it anymore. Space shuttle, including the thing that the boosters that gets it up, it seems like they really wanted to be able to use it multiple times. That was one of the things. So you go in there, and I didn't take a picture, I didn't take a video, because it was a presentation that I don't think you were allowed to. All I can do is describe it, and I hope I can do it justice. But as you're standing there watching this video, at the very end, you see the finale of it was the space shuttle kind of coming at you, and then it stops right there. And then from there, it's like the screen kind of goes away, and you see it live in the distance. And this is what you see. So you see how this shuttle looks like it's pointed at you, it's coming at you. This is what you see at the end of that movie. That the space shuttle is coming at you, it stops, and it opens up, and then you see this live. It's really cool. Hard to explain. I'm hoping my explanation is doing it justice. It is one of those things that you just have to see. And if it, and you know what, I my first time ever being there, I thought it was my favorite thing that I saw there was that presentation. Really cool. And I hope I didn't ruin a surprise for you if you haven't seen it and you would have gone there and now it's not surprised. Hopefully not. I'm hoping it's just whetting your appetite to be like, yeah, let's go see what this looks like. Let's go see this. For me though, it was a surprise, and I loved it. I was like, wow, that is really cool. I was really impressed by that. You go in here, and here's that Atlantis space shuttle. There's the opening of it. It was designed to open up, and this arm here, where it says Canada, was designed, I believe, to put out satellites, I believe, or put out other stuff in space. I think satellites. So I do have, I believe, a video of this too. If I stop sharing real quick, go back to the videos on Instagram. Here we go. I'll keep it muted. So now you're seeing it from left to right. when you come out of that room though, I mean, everyone's got their phone out, taking pictures of it. The room's over there to the left. I don't know. You can kind of see the people there real briefly. They're all, because it's such a cool moment. You gotta, me explaining it doesn't do it justice in reality. It's just such a cool moment to see. Try to pause it there. So you can see how this is open here. That's where we're all standing in there. The screen is here where this opening is. It does its little movie, its little presentation, and then that opens up and it comes into this. And then everyone's coming out with their cameras, taking pictures of that last picture that I showed you. Really cool thing to see. And then this Atlantis area is not just this little display here, although this is it. I believe that is my last video that I have. They have a ton of things as well. And here at this point, it was kind of getting later in the day. I got to enjoy quite a bit of it, but at this point, I was going quicker now with what I was seeing. I wasn't stopping and looking and reading every little thing. Hidden power there. So I don't know if I have as much to talk about because I didn't, but yeah, I think this may have been like a satellite that, that arm, like it transports it up to space. The arm is designed to take it out and leave it out there. There's a up close picture of that. And then another picture of that. So, and then I think is that my last picture? Yes, because that goes back to the beginning. Here's a last picture of that Atlantis had so much stuff. I I was getting tired at that point. I took so many pictures already on that bus tour, Kennedy Space Center, uh, the Apollo Saturn V Center. I can't remember the name of that for the life of me. That by the time we got to Atlantis, I was just tired. The day was kind of uh, longer. Um, I didn't have it in me to continue to take more pictures. But they had a lot of things in there, and they had a slide that you could go down to. That I don't remember. I mean, I did it, and they may have taken a picture of me doing it. But they had that, and they also had like a simulator where you could go into, and it simulated uh, taking off, being in a rocket for takeoff, and the way that it you know moved you and the screen that you're seeing, it was really cool. At some point, I think you're even all the way vertical because they were warning you about not having any loose articles. Definitely don't want things flying or losing anything, but you can't really necessarily tell just because of the way that it's set up and the screens are. That was pretty cool to see too. Um, I enjoyed that as well. The takeoff. We only did it once. I guess you could have done it more, and then just more displays on it. So that was that. There were other things that we didn't get a chance to do. There was one called Journey to Mars. There was the Rocket Garden guided tour, which we kind of heard a little bit of it. There's some for kids. Planet Play didn't go in there. I don't see it on here. There was another one too where it was like something like training to be an astronaut and what that's like. We didn't get to go in there. We did get some ice cream though at the end of the day. That was pretty tasty. Oh, and there was a restaurant in there too that we got to go to. Their diner, or I forgot what it's called now, but I'm gonna give them a shout out, even though I can't remember the name of it. You know what? Maybe it's on the map here. Do I have it on the map? Is the diner on the map? What's it called? Bus tour, Central Mars Rover Vehicle Navigator, Universal Theater. We didn't really get in there. Where is it? There's an IMAX. You can see that. A lot of things we didn't get to see. So we could definitely probably go back again. You could, I guess you could do it. You could do it 2 days if you wanted to. You could do one day as well, but we could do two. I don't see the name of the well, whatever. Anyways, the restaurant that we went to was so fast and efficient. I had never seen a restaurant like that. You put in your order. You could have a self checkout kiosk type of thing. Gives them the order, and then they're going to call your number, whatever number it gives you. And so we get our order. I don't remember the exact number, but let's say it's 25. It's just, for instance, I don't remember it. Maybe it was even higher than that. Come to think of it, you know what? It was higher than that. I don't again remember the exact number, but it was higher than that. Let's say it was maybe 75. Whatever it was. Anyways, we're sitting there eating, and it doesn't take us that long to eat. Maybe 10 minutes, something like that. And I'm hearing numbers being called out just constantly. Number 80, number 81, number 80, just constantly in a row. I mean, it got up to like 100. We were in the 70s, and we were only sitting down for, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. They had gone through like 30 orders. It was incredible how fast and efficient this restaurant was. And it's killing me that I can't give them a proper shout out with their name. Killing me. But they were so fast. And you think that because they're fast, you're gonna substitute quickness for quality. No, the food was actually really good. I think I had like a little salad and a burger. I can't remember. I think they each got like a chicken sandwich. Maybe I get whatever it was. But anyways, it was really good. The food was really good, and it was fast. It's like I got to give them props for that. One of the best theme park restaurants. I don't know if you want to call it a theme park, museum, combination, whatever. But restaurants, I've never been a part of in an atmosphere like that. So really good. Let me see if I can Google that. All right, I'm seeing if I can Google this real quick. Is it Orbit Cafe? Maybe it's Orbit Cafe. Take a look at the pictures. Orbit Cafe. That's it. Yep. Orbit Cafe. You know what? Might as well show you a picture of it. Yeah, I didn't take any pictures of it, but you can see Orbit Cafe right there. There's a picture of the food. Really good food. I mean, really good food. And very quick. I mean, I was highly impressed. I don't get highly impressed by a restaurant like that with speed and quality. That just doesn't happen. That was really good. So definitely, if you go there, eat some food there. I definitely recommend that. And the ice cream place, I can't remember the ice cream place's name, but that was pretty good too. Um, is that everything I wanted to cover? Oh yeah, there was a souvenir shop. I got we got my they had a nice little package that my wife got. It was like a hoodie and a t-shirt. I think it was a for a pretty low price. Considering like what she paid for two things, usually you get like one thing. It could or even more expensive than that one, whatever it was. Um, so she got that. I got a pin for a friend of mine. He likes to collect pins. I didn't know pin collecting was a thing, to be honest, until went to went to Disney, but that's a thing. They had a bunch of different pins. I got one that hopefully he liked. Um, I thought it was kind of funny though. It showed on the sign like biggest NASA souvenir shop in the world, and I just thought, all right, that's cool. But how many are there? I mean, it's not like I go. It's not like Starbucks and McDonald's on every corner. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen any NASA souvenir shops, let alone this is the biggest one. Maybe in the airport in Orlando, maybe, but I can't recall too many. I got a kick out of that. It was still a nice little souvenir shop. Um, I think that was kind of everything that, yeah, just a lot of good things to see. And we didn't even see it all. So my experience was a nice experience. I really enjoyed it. Didn't even get to see it all. So if you are interested in going, as I mentioned, if this sounds appealing to you, something you want to go see in person, get to see, take a day, 2 days to see it all. Maybe you can see it all in one. Let me know. j.paradise@gmail.com is my email. You can email me, reach out to me, or you can look me up on Facebook or Instagram. Jay's Paradise Travel, no apostrophe, just Jays. Jay's Paradise Travels. You can reach out to me that way as well. Now I'm going to ask you something here going forward. This is going to kind of end this, but I wanted to, and I'm going to try to leave it. You can answer the question. Uh, Leave a comment below. So going forward, so I've covered a cruise, and I've got other cruises that I'll talk about and other destinations, but also I've only done one podcast so far when it comes to sports games, and that was Milwaukee, and I've got plenty of those to talk about too. But I'm not sure how to go about doing it going forward, and I say it this way. So the one that um, I talked about was Milwaukee, and I'll kind of explain this. So years ago, when I worked in the airline industry, I worked in the airline industry for probably most of my adult life. I had flying benefits, and it was easy to go see different stadiums. To have that as a hobby was easy to go there, see the game, come back the next morning. Very easy to do. And so, um, with that, I didn't have a need to kind of bundle games together. I did. I eventually did kind of do that, but it wasn't like a humongous need. It was like, oh, this game is playing then. Let me go see it and come back. Easy peasy, could do it. But now that I don't work for the airlines anymore, who knows? Maybe one day I will again. Never know. Um, Now bundling games into one trip is very um, I don't say vital, but it's what I do because it costs money and time to go to a city, out of state, wherever it is, and I want to try to kill as many birds with one stone as I can instead of going back and forth, back and forth. So, for instance, that last trip, Milwaukee, instead of going to Milwaukee, seeing one of those teams, the Brewers coming back, and then somewhere down the line going back, seeing the Bucks come back, knock them both out in one trip. Since I don't have flying benefits, it's better to do it that way. But that trip that I went to Milwaukee, I knocked out both teams in that city in one trip. So no need to talk about, or, well, let me put it this way. What I'm not sure on, debating what to do, how to go about doing it with my podcast, is to do it by trips or to do it by cities. That one covered both. All the teams in that one trip and that one city was covered in one trip. Very good. I'll give you an example. One of the cruises, the last cruise we went back in December 2023, I got to see the Tampa Bay Lightning and also the Orlando Magic. I could make one podcast and talk about the Orlando Magic and the Tampa Bay Lightning since I combined them in one trip. I could do that. Or there's other teams in Tampa, and there's one other team, I guess you could say, in Orlando, and it's a college team. So I could do it that I talk about Orlando and the Magic and the Tampa Bay Lightning game combined because there was one trip, and do my podcast based on the trips I've taken and the combinations of it, or I could split them apart and do it by cities. I could talk about the Tampa Bay Lightning as well as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the South Florida Bulls and combine all that because that's all in Tampa. I haven't seen the Rays yet. I could do it that way and then talk about the Orlando Magic and talk about the UCF Golden Knights and have that as separate podcasts. Different trips, and stick with the team. So I would like your opinion on that. What do you think I should do? If I get no responses, I'll just have to figure one out myself. But I would like to hear from you guys. Should I do it based on the trips, or should I do it based on the cities, or maybe even the state? No, the states. I guess it depends. Like Wisconsin only has so many teams. I've hit all the teams in Wisconsin. There's 2 teams in Milwaukee. There's the Packers, and then there's Wisconsin Badgers, which was in one trip in itself as well. I've already done the Milwaukee thing, so I guess I couldn't do the state. And Florida's got a ton, so I would have to be there along. And I haven't even seen everything in Florida quite yet. So I'd like to know your opinion. Give me your thoughts on it. Should I do it by my bundle trips and talk about the trip itself, or should I talk about the city and the teams within the city and combine them that way? And then if I do see another team from that city, just add it in later on. Let me know your thoughts. Anyways, thank you again for listening. Please like, rate, subscribe, share, 5-star review, all those good things that podcasters need in order to keep a podcast doing. Please do. Appreciate you listening today, and look forward to talking with you guys another time. Take care. Bye-bye.